Hey guys, Mike Gaddy. I'm here with Steve Zolinardo. We have another episode of Real Estate on Record.
Now, Mike, you told us behind the scenes, behind the camera, that you bought yourself a new property.
Yeah.
Now, talk to everyone about these highs and lows, when to buy, when not to buy. You got a pretty good deal, but there's more to it, right? Why don't you tell me your story?
Yeah, so we were talking, obviously the market goes up, comes down. There's a couple bumps in the middle. And we were looking at last year. End of last year is when we purchased. I think it was early December. And basically at that time, the market was dead. September kind of started to see that inventory pick up. October, November was kind of slow. December was like absolutely killed.
Scary.
So houses were sitting everywhere, right? So that's when you're going to get your best deal, when someone really has to sell, right? And if you don't really have to buy. So in our case, I wasn't even finished my renovation yet. We were probably the last tail end of it, 10% left to do. Didn't really want to sell, but this house was sitting on the market. We kind of...
Sorry, they didn't want to sell?
I didn't want to sell.
You didn't want to sell?
No, I just finished a
Sure.
year and a half renovation and spent a ton of money, and it was like...
Probably enjoying his backyard.
I didn't even enjoy the backyard.
In the backyard.
I
We had a few drinks back there.
I watched a couple races back there.
Oh, okay. All right, so you didn't really want to
That's
sell.
where you introduced me to bread and butter, that wine.
Yeah. No,
it's good.
It's good.
It's very good. Okay, so go ahead.
Yeah, so didn't enjoy the renovation yet. And for example, this house is sitting on the market. They were a little bit priced high for the time. Weren't probably getting showings. The guy had purchased. So it all depends what you do first. We obviously recommend maybe to list and sell first, so you understand what you have in your pocket. And if the market does shift, you're not kind of left with a bag in your hand that you weren't anticipating. So this guy did that. I kind of put myself in the same position, but I knew I had a very good product to sell. I had the best product in the neighborhood at the time. There's no competition.
Your house, the one that you renovated the backyard.
We renovated the whole house.
The whole house. Okay.
Yeah, top to bottom, inside out, roof, windows.
And you had a tenant in there too, right?
And we had a tenant in there too,
Yeah.
so there was rental opportunity. We had a big pool of buyers that we figured we could market to. So we were confident that we'd get it sold. We knew it was going to take a little bit longer just because the market was dead, but we knew we can get it going. So basically, for example, price-wise, these guys were originally priced $1,788,000, and we're talking the same neighborhood. Like, we're not talking different neighborhoods. So it's the same currency, like I mentioned off camera. It's not like I'm going from North York to Bolton, right?
I think you actually moved to a better side, to be honest. Right?
It's all pretty relevant, yeah.
I mean, the street's really
The
nice.
street is really
all
nice.
the houses
Yeah,
are
you're right. That strip is a lot prettier
Beautiful.
because like we're on like all two-story street with all two stories versus a street with like you got the odd two-story bunch of bungalows, like 1,200 square foot bungalows. So we upgraded size. We went from 1,200 square feet to I think we're like 2,400. I can't remember exactly.
Plus the basement.
It was fully renovated, mature landscaping, outside, fully irrigated. So like it actually has nice grass. It's not like junk. So everything was done. I found out later, obviously, what he purchased was much higher in price. So he was probably in a situation. But either way, we were looking for a deal. I didn't need to buy. I was looking strictly for a deal. And he dropped his price from 1,788 to 1,700. Again, one thing led to another, kind of pulled the comp, stretched it a little bit. We ended up getting him down to 1,565.
Wow.
In the same neighborhood.
That's crazy.
Yeah, the only problem...
Unheard of.
Yeah, it was definitely...
$270,000 less.
Yeah.
Wow.
So again, he really wanted to sell. I didn't really need to buy. It's being at the right place at the right time is part of it for sure. Are we gonna find that deal every day? No. So that's why I jumped on it.
But now the question is, when you decided to sell your house,
Yeah.
were you in that same rat race?
Yeah, 1,000%. But I knew I had a big pool of buyers. With that rental income, definitely helped too, because market was slow, rates were still high. I knew I had to go up against some competition, but really not much. I didn't really have much competition. But
Did you have to break your mortgage? What happened with that situation?
Yeah.
Did it work out at the perfect time?
No, I had to break my mortgage. So there was a little bit of fees involved. But again, for a house that was worth probably 1.9, let's call it, at the height of the market in 22, to get it for 15.65, yeah, I'm willing to do that, right?
Crazy
Yeah,
deal.
yeah.
So now what about those people that want to have this deal, man? Because right now the market, would you say it's still volatile?
Right now, I think actually in the next couple of weeks, it's a good time.
It's a good time. So right before the drop in June?
I'm gonna be honest. So when we saw January, February, March, we saw the market pick up and go crazy, right? I think we're getting to a little, I don't know if buyers are exhausted yet, maybe not totally exhausted, but showings are definitely down, inventory's up. So
Aren't they on the sidelines just waiting for the June market of the 25% cut?
possibly, but I think there's still,
They're showing it,
I do definitely think that there's a good opportunity to jump in right now for people that have to sell, people that bought. And there are some properties that are definitely sitting a little bit longer than they were a month and a half ago.
You're in a niche market now, right? I've priced at 1.5 and you potentially could go to 1.9. That's a niche market, right? Of home.
I think it's just a good deal. Like the market's not very niche. I had like there's a lot of
Oh,
two stories
okay,
in that area for sure.
Well, what about you, Steve? Do you feel like the market right now, is there deals like that still in this current market?
Yeah, but you got to be brave like Mike too, right? Because when he bought it, we already saw a slowdown, so he was able to hold it just in case if anything were to happen. So it's a little bit, like obviously he went in for if there was going to be a long haul, he was prepared for it, which is great. But yeah, we held in there. We've already chatted about it. We saw like, hey man, things are they're gonna light right up, and your house sold just shortly right after. We sold everything. I think it was just right before January. We sold everything in that last week of December.
Yeah,
In the
Yeah,
house that he lives in now? Or, pardon me, before?
the previous house.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I don't know. Like, yeah, sure, there's deals, of course. I think right now a lot of people are chewing up great listings right now. I think what's going to stay in the market is probably undesirable properties. So if it's something in a desirable area right now, it's gonna get like multiple offers, the whole thing on it.
Listen to what I found, guys. Okay, now you tell me, this is right into line what we're talking about this podcast. Are you familiar with Alliston? Do you guys do any work in Alliston?
Yeah, I think I did.
He knows.
Do you?
He
No, I
wa-
don't know.
he was Allison.
What do you mean?
I did a lot of stuff there.
In Alliston.
Correct.
So Alliston, I saw a buddy of mine has been selling it. It's been on the market for over 90 days. 90.
hire the right realtors?
He is a realtor, right? So listen,
shit!
listen,
He's not good at his job.
it's a detached home in a retirement community.
Oh,
It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath.
I know
Very-
exactly.
very
what it is.
specific.
1,500
buyer.
square
In
feet.
the Amalfi section there.
I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, they got
But listen,
high HOA fees.
They have it priced at $685, and jokingly, I said, "What about if I said 600?" And he says, "Listen, come with me with an offer because it looks like they're dying to get rid of it."
This is
Guys.
his own listing or his clients?
Like it's his client,
Oh, so then he needs to just.
but no, it's been on the market 90 days,
Yeah.
dude.
No, that I know.
So
that's
what's wrong with this house,
It has
guys?
high HOA fees and it's overpriced. That's
HOA fees? What do you mean?
Yeah, they have an HOA there, like in the U.S. They have.
Why?
I would already know the area. Is that a one off of King where those?
It's
those
on Blair something.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong on the name. Either way, it's a detached home, smaller. But here's where
Single
the
story, bungalow,
No, it's 2-story.
2-story.
But here's the problem: it's a 2-bedroom, 4-bath.
But it's a retirement
Two
community,
bedroom,
so you're
4-bath.
fine.
Yeah, that's who you're
But
catering.
I don't understand why it's not selling at a price of $685.
It's overpriced.
$685 is
And
overpriced.
you have a much smaller pool of buyers too.
Why?
You're looking at someone that's like 55 plus that's going to live there, and that's it. You're not. There's
But
not.
I would buy in a retirement community. It's nice and safe. I don't care.
No,
It's not
but they
safe.
don't want you there. There's probably
Yeah, you probably, like,
something in the
with
declaration
kids.
of the condo declaration. You have to be probably of a certain age.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That sounds like discrimination, man.
No.
So $685, you can't sell it.
Discrimination.
It's a detached house. Why discriminate? Why? You can't forbid people to live in that
It's called
community.
a 55 plus for a reason.
I don't mind it. Peaceful.
Yeah.
Right? So anyway, guys, those kind of deals. Do you think people should be afraid if a house stays on the market longer than 60 days?
No, there might be opportunity there. It depends. Right now, like you said, if it's a good property, I don't think it lasts 60 days.
It won't last if it's a good property.
But if there's something like not an issue, but maybe not, it needs a little bit of renovation or something like that. It's a little bit less desirable and it's sitting there. Yeah, there's opportunity.
Because Alliston is.
Look at my house in Allison, the one I just sold and closed earlier this year.
I thought you were in Nobleton.
No, it was investment property, right?
Oh.
Yeah. This is the loss of the houses. But anyway, so we had this house, great house, duplex, ready for triplex, over-engineered, over-improved, like all building permits. Like, it's beautiful what we did with it. But the only issue is, and when I was telling Mike when we were going to list, I go, it's always going to be this issue. And if we wanted to keep it, we would have built a fence off and created this, I'll go into it, an area that looks like a backyard. Because what happens is we have the house, and then we have, what we did is the house is like rectangular, right? Let's say the lot. So the front of the house is like this, and then the lot goes in the back. So what we did is we cut off 2 sections off the back and made 2 lots. So now these houses have driveways onto this road, and then this house is left. with only 10 feet on the back of it, where the backyard was normally like 110 feet or 115 feet. So now we have to create a side yard. So the side yard would be now the backyard for this property. But we could, that the lots are now, we have to do grading and a whole bunch of stuff with it. So we couldn't create this, let's say
Fenced
vision.
inside,
Yeah, like, hey, that's your new backyard, dude. Like, chill out. So there was a stigma. So we had it, I think it was eight and change. And then you sold it. It was like, I think at $800K at that time. And then those guys bailed out because of stupidity. No, it was the interest rate.
The day
Maybe
the
financing. They
The
couldn't get
day of the
no,
interest
he
rate.
could have. He could
Yeah.
have. He backed out.
He
'cause of
backed
the rate.
out, and then we ended up selling it. I don't know what it was. I think it turned out to like, I don't even know, 725, 730 or something like that. Maybe less, maybe more. I don't know. There's some things that we had to do to it. But yeah, it was just desirability. And
But if he bailed, doesn't he lose money?
no, it's
No.
a conditional period.
Yeah.
Oh.
But that property was 739, 719, 799,
See, that
789,
would scare me.
779, 769. But
There's too much movement.
I'm
That would scare
I'm
me.
in the business. It's and again that was a transitioning market too. So it's like, okay, we're getting shown.
That was end of last
Let me
year.
ask
Yeah.
you something, Steve. If this house that's been up on the market 90 days and it's been at 685,
Why are you so worried about this house?
Aspetta,
Is
listen.
this your listing?
Could you no, because what about if I go in there aggressively, like 100,000
You
less?
don't want that product.
No.
No.
Why?
It's
Mike-
not going to go up in value.
Let Mike look at it for you. He'll
Yeah,
tell you.
Mike, if I give it to you, would you say, hey, we can go in aggressive?
Oh,
We could always go in
Well, think
aggressive.
about
He's
it.
gonna,
What-
he's
I'll
gonna
use that
give
as
it
an
to you
investment
aggressive.
property.
If I gave it to you, is it
Why?
gonna be
Why,
aggressive?
Steve? Why can't we leave this episode
Oh,
PG?
Lordy.
Why?
But how much return are you going to bring? We got to look at the rents, right? Like with the high maintenance fee that he's talking about, it's probably not going to work.
How high, Steve?
I think that
I
if
think
I'm,
it's like $600-700.
I think if I'm
Should
right,
I look it up right now?
yeah.
Okay, and then I'll show you. guys.
Don't say the address.
Never. I would never do that. So in this exact situation, because this happens, I'm sure more than not, would you just say bypass this house? Don't even look.
You
at
don't need it. It's too many.
As
stigmas.
an investment, it might be hard right now to get a single door that works, to be honest.
Really? Even a price that low for a detached?
Bring your money to Florida, bro.
Yeah, you got to see what
well,
rents
that
we
wouldn't
can
really
get.
stretch that much. Think about it.
But just if you get something.
I have something.
Yeah.
So I want to take the equity out of that house that I have now and put it somewhere else.
In Florida,
But I don't know where that. Yeah.
Crane Landing. Let me send you a site.
No, I want to get what you guys are building.
Oh,
See how it works out?
yeah.
I want to get into the Treviso brand.
Okay.
You see how it all works
wait
out?
till we do the REIT. You can buy in.
Okay, and I do.
Yeah.
So having said that, guys, now you said Alliston.
No, Allison's good.
Okay, so now you're telling me that house, for example, would be a no-go.
I have to see the area. I don't know, but a house. Is
I'm just
ugly.
curious because your immediate reaction, both of you, was like, I don't think that would
house
be good
is
for an
ugly as
investment.
fuck.
Clearly,
Mike, do you like that house?
your sister.
I don't love it.
She's heard more swear words in this
It's okay.
this whole
Alright.
day. Are you okay with all the swearing?
Yeah, she's fine. So question now.
Can she
So-
speak for herself?
Question now.
Is,
So
is he kidnapped you?
never.
Let
she,
me know.
She loves
give
working
me,
with
give
me.
me like an SOS.
Never.
Does he pay
fucking-
you?
Never.
We'll hit
I
him.
take good care of her.
I'll beat him with this
Never,
microphone.
never,
Mind you,
never.
this guy's like kung fu master.
That's
I have to
right.
fucking
Black
shoot
belt.
I'll
him.
take care of it. Not in this country you
I have to
can't.
fucking shoot
Not
him.
in this country you can't. So then, last thing, guys, I want to know something about changing the mindset of where you want to move. So, for example, a lot of people say, my family's in Vaughan. My family's in Vaughan. Are you guys the type of realtors that say, wait a second, your family might be in Vaughan, but it's just not a smart decision to buy there? Would you stop and tell them, hey, look, stop that. Look outside of the area of where your family lives. Would you do that?
Of course, it's all gonna. The biggest thing is budget, right? So we're gonna find out what they could spend, and what they would fit into in Vaughan for their budget. If it works, great. If not, we're gonna show you the value. In Vaughan, you can get probably a town or a condo, let's say, for a lower budget. Because if you're going to Alliston, for example, what you can get for $650 in Alliston is like
You can't get nothing in Vaughan.
well, you're going to be into a condo or a town,
Correct.
right? So we'll show them the value and show them the difference, and then if it's worth it, it depends on what their plan is. Is it going to be a house that they're going to live in with their family, and they live in Vaughan, and they can do the 30-40 minute commute? Well,
Would you
great.
guys even venture out with clients if they haven't gone to a mortgage broker yet to get their finances in
Of
order?
course, yeah, we do it all the time.
Oh, you would? You still would go out with them?
Oh,
If
like
they
to go show
don't
them.
have their finances in order with a mortgage broker yet.
It depends. It depends. Like
Like if they just want to go
if
low.
it's just
There's
if
a
it's just a
conversation for sure.
yeah, there's a conversation. If it's someone I know and I kind of know what house they have and have an idea.
Let's say you don't know
yes.
nothing about them.
No, I would ask them to to look at that
You,
first.
you need to have a high level conversation
Yeah.
because even like we tell them, it's like I get it, like I want to go too, but at the end, it's what's the point if we don't get what you want, right?
Yeah,
Like,
what's the point if you're
you
going
need-
in there with no money?
Have a light conversation with a mortgage agent. You don't have to be too committed to it. At least you get an idea where you are financially, and then if it's going to be in your. How about we look at this property and you're like 100K off?
But
Now
that's what I
you
mean.
got
And then they
$100,000
fall in
more.
love, right?
and then they
that-
fall in love and they can't get
it
that
sets
extra
the
money.
standard.
Correct.
Well, then it sets the standard for looking at a lot of other things.
Don't like anything
It's hard
else.
to break that after.
What about the last thing on this episode? What about when you want to step out of, hey, you know what, financing? It's like buying a car. What about if they really want that Ferrari? They can't buy it.
I'm waiting for this guy to say.
No.
And where do you?
No. Now I'm talking
See?
about, would you say buying a house now is like buying a car? That people want to get a car, but can they even afford that car? Do you think a lot of people, they go and look for houses that are beyond their means?
Depends.
A lot
Because
of
the
people-
market right now is very deceiving, right? Like we were talking about. I'm sure they can't find houses like what you did. Like, would you think that you were lucky to find that deal of a house?
No, I was looking for. Right?
Oh, you were actively looking.
I'm always looking. It's not like I just tripped and it fell in front of
That's
me.
what I
You had an
actually
offer
thought.
in Wycliffe too. Remember that house?
Yeah, I
Similar
had an
concept.
yeah, same thing. I was looking for a deal, and that's what I was looking for, right?
I didn't know that you were actively looking. I thought it kind of just fell onto your lap and you said, you
No.
know what, this could be really good.
Well, I put an offer on a house in Woodbridge just because if it worked out, it was a great deal, right? I was looking for a deal. I was more than like that. I was looking for a deal that my family could live in,
Uh-huh.
right?
Come
And
close to Mike.
and if it worked out, it was great. But if it didn't, I didn't need to buy.
So for you, you had the pleasure of saying, I want to try, but I don't care even a little bit if
But
I get outbid.
I'm also realistic too. Like,
okay.
I have.
You're not going to go 400,000 less.
No, I have my, like, I know what kind of deals we're looking for, and I know what kind of scenarios would give you those deals.
So now you were making the move, but within the GTA. You sold everything to move into another country. Now, when you sold your houses, were you also very patient and said, no, I'm
No.
going to sell it the way I want to sell it?
No,
Really?
yeah, because I knew the market was collapsing, so I was in a rush to get everything on and off quick as
Legit,
possible.
you were in a rush?
Yeah, for sure. The
You'll
market
even
was
take a bit of a dive if you needed to?
100%.
He didn't even put the counters in the basement.
Yeah,
Get
I
outta
listed it. There
here.
was no quartz. I literally like put a sticker like there'll be quartz and there'll be tile. You're good. Give me an offer. So that was definitely
Wow.
Nobleton, but also the other property here in Kleinberg Summit. I didn't fight too much, right? Because I knew the market was going in a different direction. I felt it. I was telling Mike, and oh man, this is no, you were in town, right? When we were selling.
I followed you enough to know all the details.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. So it was that whole transition right there. It was like, no, I gotta get rid of everything, houses, and trying to convince partners now to sell stuff, right? So it was
Not
like
necessarily that you needed money. It's more so that you just wanted to get the hell out
we
of the
were-
market.
No, the top was there. I have no interest to hold it.
The what was there?
The top of the market was
Oh,
there, and it
okay.
was ready to collapse. You saw we dropped 30%. I would have lost millions of dollars if I didn't do it.
You sold the middle of 2022?
Yeah, I think March, April.
Just before that collapse.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Jeez,
Yeah.
talk about good
So,
timing.
so
dude.
literally everything came perfect, right? So unloaded and just rushed, bang, 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 and tried to convince partners. I had one that was dragging, and I had to, like say, hey man, I'm going legal action. Either you're in or you're out. I don't give a fuck. We had a deal here. We got to get
legit.
going. No, but I had a deal. When you make a deal, when you sign a contract, day one, and then it's like it's in 3 years, this is potentially what's going to happen. And 3 years is at this point, like we got
But
to
you had originally put in your what's it called? You put in your 5%.
Visa?
No, you put in your 5% with Lennar, right?
What?
For your house, the one that you first lived in when you went to Florida. You had it before you sold the house in Nobleton.
Oh, I bought that house before I did anything.
Okay.
I bought it in February 1st, and then
Okay.
I started the investment visa.
There you go.
Middle of maybe third week of Feb.
So you already had the property in motion.
Yeah,
Before you
but,
sold
but
anything here.
that was just an investment because I couldn't buy anything in Toronto. It was not based on me moving to
That
Florida.
was just your investment,
Or-
regardless.
It was just an investment. Every year you buy something, right? And that just made the most sense. But then, as things progressed, Feb and everything like that, I figured it's time to kind of make a change even for the family. And obviously the business venture was a good idea. So, yeah. So then we just started going full force.
Did
And-
you take a hard hit on capital gains? Because you sold everything all at once?
No, because the way that we're obviously one's a personal residence, a lot of them under corporations.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All
We're
right.
fine. Yeah.
So that's good. So then you took everything, you moved over there, and then your mindset now was, I'm clearing out everything in Canada. Or do you still have some property here?
Yeah, I got one, I think.
A lot.
The lot, yeah.
Which didn't you say you want to build
It's in Alliston.
duplex or something there?
No, I'm gonna sell it.
You are going to sell it?
Yeah.
You want to buy a lot in Alliston?
I do, yeah.
How much
Good-
you build?
good
How much you
deal.
build?
Yeah,
Yeah.
tell me. Listen, I'd love to.
350 cash.
But I need
bro.
investors. That's the only
So
problem.
gather. You know enough realtors.
I know a guy named Steve Zelenardo. Maybe he wants to invest with me in his own place.
No, not here.
Guys, you know what we got to invest in?
Where do we find you? Where do you find your stuff?
So to find me, it's at TTL Films.
TTL?
TTL Films.
Ooh.
Do you know that that's not actually my company name? Originally, it's Phantom Imaging.
yeah.
Phantom Imaging.
I know
Started
that's where I pay.
Started in high
I
school.
can never fucking figure it
That's
out when
right.
I gotta send you D-transfer. I'm like, where's
that's
Through the
it.
Lens? I'm like, mother.
Never. That Refined Rebel. So that's another one of my brands. And all of those are going to come full speed this year.
Refined
Rebel. That's trademark.
It's counterproductive.
Let's go. No, it's not. I'm
You're a
refined.
refined rebel.
He's
You're like a
he was a
nerd
rebel,
that kills people.
I'm a nerd.
You're a
that's bad
nerd that
boy.
breaks rules.
Mike, let's break some rules and find.
the
so now I'm all
best.
screwed up.
He's a nerd that breaks rules.
I'm a nerd that breaks rules.
This motherfucker does 80 and a 50 all day long.
You know how many speeding tickets I got, dude? I don't know about. How many speeding tickets have you had?
I don't remember.
Okay, how about you?
Not that
much?
many. No.
So for me at this point, I look at things very much like you, Steve, where I want and like you, I want to grow, but I want to do it on my terms. See, you decided to grow, but you want to do it on your terms. And a lot of people now, when they buy a house, they have to you know what I noticed? A lot of people have to buy because they fucked up and they decided I'm going to sell my house, put it on the market, and then they have not prepared on what to buy. And then they find themselves in a situation where shit, now what do I do? You ever have that happen, guys?
Yeah.
Where people either buy without selling and prepare themselves to sell, or they sell and don't have anywhere to live, and now all of a sudden, what do I do? Move in with my parents? Do I rent? Do I lease? What the hell do I do?
Sometimes clients don't listen to your strategies on risk. Sometimes if there's a bad market and a good market,
Risk management.
Yeah, and also sometimes they don't have. They think they know, but they don't. It's their first transaction, but they've come in and they're gonna brawl at a professional's level, or it's family that gives them bad advice.
Sure, that's why they have to go to a
Even
realtor.
sometimes they sold in a different market and they think it's the same. Say they sold a house 10 years ago and it was in a certain type of market condition, and now they're selling now, and they think they just keep going back to that old time, but it might have been a different market then, and they won't listen to today's market strategy.
But that's why if you get a knowledge realtor that's non-biased, right? They have no win or lose for you. They just want whatever's best.
I think
family doesn't.
I think the best with clients is don't tell them you gotta do this. Give them examples, stories.
Sure.
Stories are the best. NLP, you do a story this is what happened in this situation, similar to what's currently happening now. This is another client that this is what happened.
Bring relevancy to it.
Yeah, and then you got to make a decision, and then we're obviously gonna try to act on whatever you want us to do or whatever strategy. But again, storytelling is the best way to kind of get the point through, where it's not I'm telling you, I'm just giving you examples of actual past stories of what happened, worst case scenario.
Steve, when I bought my house in Florida, you were the first one to say, okay, Steph, hold on a second. Let's think about this. Let's do it like this. Let's do it like that. You didn't just say, hurry up, do it. You said, hold on a second. Let's look at the steps now. Can we get these steps in order? And when you told me about my dad, that, hey, we got to get your dad on board. We got to get the financing in order. It's not like you said, yeah, Steph, whatever, we'll figure it out. I'm sure there's a lot of realtors that say, hey, let's just figure it out because they want to get their commission.
Yeah, and then it blows up, and then everyone hates each other.
Everyone hates everyone.
But I'd rather kill the deal if it's not going to go through. It's the square peg into a round hole theory. You can't. It doesn't matter what you think
You can force it in a little.
You're gonna break the hole.
You're gonna destroy everything.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. You'll destroy it, and it doesn't make sense. It never fits. It's always a headache. So if it's a little bit, you have to do a little shaving. Yeah, you do it. But I learned that early on. Even when buying investments, if it's a square peg into a round hole, I don't need it.
Of course.
It's not like I need this to live or to eat. It's not water or food. It's if it doesn't fit the mold, out.
I say
out like a light.
Out like a light, and
Sicko baby.
We have to seek and destroy. So now everyone has to find us. Mike, where can they find you and your crazy deals?
You can find this on Spotify, YouTube, and me at Mike Gaddy Realtor.
Steve?
Yeah, same. And then Zelenardo Associates and blah, 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 blah.
And Treviso
Realty.
And we'll see them next time, guys.
Very good.
Take it easy.
See you later.
Ciao.